Well, Packers fans, that's just how it's going to be all year with the Packers. Just going to have hope for a week after a win, and the next week they're going to crush your hopes and lose to the stupid Steelers. Now, many chances to win this game from beginning to end. They were screwed a little bit at times. We'll go into that, but Packers lose 23-19 to the Steelers, and yeah, they're not going to make the playoffs. This team's just not going to make the playoffs. No matter how open the NFC is, it's just not going to happen this year. I mean, there's just too many things wrong. They show improvement one week, and then the next week they have failings, and they just don't win. But if you like the video, you know what to do. I don't, but it's up to you. Packers today had many chances to win from beginning to end. And it's just another one of those games where Jordan Love has a few good throws here and there. He had a couple of good deep ball throws that were dropped or not catch, or Dobbs could have made a deep ball catch, but he didn't adjust and go on the inside pass. So there's that. Watson drops some more balls, and you can count. I think it's clear that Christian Watson, sure, he can still get better. I mean, Packer fans freaked out when Devontae Adams wasn't good in the second year, so maybe we can have that same kind of trajectory in the future. But signs right now don't point to Christian Watson being able to do that. I'll be willing to give him the chance, but today was not a good day for Christian Watson. The running back game was pretty strong today for the most part. Jordan Love, accurate for the most part, but then there were several times where he wasn't. Again, indecisiveness ruled the day. That at the end, when he's throwing, that throw to Aaron Jones was such a waste. Such a waste. It took off like 20 seconds off the clock. You were better off just throwing it out of bounds in that instance. There's another play. There's that trick play in the fourth down in the third quarter, which was just a mess. I think it was the third quarter, but it was just a mess. How they ever thought they were going to get anywhere is beyond me. And there was that play in the second quarter where Kenny Pickett clearly threw the ball in a lateral behind the line of scrimmage. Should have been a fumble. Packers should have had it at the Steelers' 9-yard line. But the NFL steps in and just says, oh no, there's just not enough evidence to overturn. My ass, there wasn't enough evidence to overturn. He clearly sidearmed it. Warren couldn't handle it. The Packers recovered. It's the Packers' ball right at that spot. There's no reason why the Packers had to waste a challenge on that. That should have been from the NFL in New York. That's what New York is for those calls to call in. The Packers should not have had to waste the challenge because they should have just said, yes, obviously there's a fumble here. That's the Packers' ball. There's no reason why they're I don't know. The NFL officiating again just sucks. But the Packers still had many chances after that to win the game. Steelers' running game was just on fire today. But then again, their play calling at times was just befuddling, especially at the end of the game. The Steelers, all they had to do was just run the ball the rest of the way. Then there's a throw, and then there's a offensive pass interference penalty, and sure, the Steelers still won, but they should have just ran every down in that drive, and they probably would have gotten the first down. Again, the Steelers still won, but the play calling from Matt Canada is still awful, and the Packers this is another way the Packers and the Steelers are very similar because they both have coaches that obviously need to be fired. Although, to be honest, Joe Barry, yes, you can criticize him and the play calling is at times, but the defense, again, was not the reason why the Packers lost today. They kept them in it again through most of the game. This game could have been over after the first quarter, but the defense held strong even after giving out those first two touchdowns. They held strong and kept them in there. If it wasn't for the defense, this game would have been 35-4 or 35-10 by halftime. It's how bad it could have been, but it does help when the Matt Canada is calling the Steelers offense, and he is just awful. Steelers fans, I know I feel your pain. Obviously, Matt Canada needs to go. Who knows when that's going to happen? Probably because Mike Tomlin seems to love him for some reason. He seems to love having your team be their bottom 25 in every offensive category. But the Steelers showed out today and they won the game. There was that scuffle at the end. Yeah, of course, Zach Tom had the unnecessary roughness penalty. Whatever, who cares? The game's over. He wasn't seriously hurt, but yeah, this game was just a mess from start to finish. Packers had so many opportunities when it just boggles the mind how they can't win games like this year. I know they're young, but it's just there's just every game there's a couple of key points, just like every football game. There's always a couple of key points where a play goes a different way and the game's completely different. Packers had many opportunities today where they could have won. I mean, they had a couple of drives in the third and fourth quarter, but they had to settle for field goals because once they get to the red zone, Jordan Love it can't be trusted to throw a good ball in the end zone because he threw a couple of interceptions today that were really bad, especially the one at the end. I don't know where it was throwing. Also, that one in the fourth quarter where he threw it into double coverage. Christian Watson doesn't go for the ball, and sure the Steelers didn't score as a result of it, but that play easily could have been avoided had Watson actually tried to play for the ball. Of course, he doesn't. I don't know why Christian Watson doesn't know how to play for those deep balls in double coverage. He doesn't know how to try and attempt to make a pass interference penalty or even just try and knock the ball away if it's supposed to be or possibility of being intercepted. He just can't do it. Aaron Jones had a decent day. AJ Dillon had a couple of good runs and a couple, but he's not a good pass catching running back. He should never be throwing the ball to AJ Dillon in the flat or anything like that. He can't catch. He's just not good. He should be throwing to Aaron Jones, but Aaron Jones had a couple of drop balls today again. No fumbles, but Jordan Love, he's still probably not the answer, but the offensive line played better today. And when Jordan Love had time to throw, he made a couple of good throws. Sure, he still made a couple of really bad throws. But overall, the offensive line held up for the most part. They only gave up like 1 or 2 sacks, and that's surprising. I figured T.J. Watt would just eat the Packers alive all day long. He really didn't do that, but it still made an impact. But again, the Packers are just a what team lost. Who knows if there are any changes that are going to be made by the end of the year? Probably not. Probably it might not be until, I think I've said this before, until Mark Murphy's gone. Mark Murphy's not going to make a bunch of key changes right before his successor takes over as the new team president, unless it continues to go really bad. But the Packers got a win last week, and they were close today, so maybe they keep, or Matt LaFleur's probably going to be kept around. Joe Barry probably going to be gone at the end of the year, but to be honest, the defense hasn't been the reason why the Packers have been losing games. It's been the offense. It's always been the offense all year long. The couple of good plays in the Packers offense does not outweigh the bad plays, the indecisiveness by Jordan Love, and just the continual lack of consistency from the Packers offense at any point of the game. It's just not consistent from drive to drive. They go from scoring a touchdown right away to tie the game back up, then 3-0. Then they go down and score again. Or second time, they have a chance to go ahead. Now, yes, like I said before, there was that lateral play that should have been a fumble, but Pittsburgh got the benefit of the doubt, and Packers lose a timeout. It's like, no, obviously was a lateral play. Should have been a fumble. But again, the Packers didn't take advantage of their opportunities, and they gave too many opportunities away to the Steelers, and that's why the Packers lost. Who knows what's going to happen going forward? We'll be at the game next week against the Chargers, so look forward to videos live from the game. But yeah, it was just shaking your head. I mean, I feel promise for the future, but I also feel major pessimism. Who knows what's going to happen? Packers still probably won't be bad enough to get a top quarterback in this year's draft, and they'll probably win just enough games to be out of the top 10. And they need a top 10 pick this year. They need a top 10 talent, but then again, Brian Gutekunst has not shown that he's been able to consistently draft. But enough of the rambling. Steelers win. They rightfully deserve the win, even though there were many times where they should have. They could have given the game away, but it just helped out by the refs. But Packers lose 19-23. Let me know what you thought of the game and what the Packers should do going forward. If there's any changes that can be made to or make the season more of a success looking. But have a great day and God bless and go Pack Go.